welcome back to the table. I had to wrap up real quick the last video. Football games, NFL playoffs are going on, and anyways, this room was becoming um, very used, and meaning that there was going to be a lot of noise, and I wasn't going to be able to record anymore. So I had to stop midway through a thought, and the thought was is we had just earned all these items, and we're going to go ahead and take care of that now. Get those items distributed. I'm actually quite excited. I mean, for a tutorial, they're giving us some good, meaty things to do. The battle was, very uneventful. But it was, if anything, the player aids really do a great job of helping you to understand what your skills do. I mean, it's everything. I give an A plus to the developer designer who came up with all this. It's accomplishing its goal. Now you might think, okay, it's boring, and my gosh, we're 3 hours in videos and we're not even done with this yet. I agree with that part. It's long. When you play a campaign game like this, I think, brevity is not necessarily a reasonable expectation. But with that said, we're going to go ahead and get started. I'm noticing I have a slight lighting issue, so 1 second while I go fix that. Okay, so we got to give out these items. We also have these reference cards we're supposed to be giving out. So, like, there's the knapsack, for example, and then armor is more of a general thing, but I do like that it at least explains, like, that's the number of hits that it can block. That's meaning the number of wear tokens it can take. This is the amount of damage it blocks when it does block. And then you can see, I always love the FAQ, everything that goes with it. And for some reason, this seems really zoomed in. Give me 1 second. Okay, I guess it is what it is. Okay, so we have the knapsack, which will let you gain stamina, but I thought for sure we took the skill that turns that into health. The Brewmaster, when any exile drinks a potion, that's not it. We must have skipped on that one. So there was one where I believe the knapsack healed in addition to the energy, and I guess we didn't take that skill. So knapsack is a belt item that's going to give you stamina, and we got potions here that will heal you, and then of course the potion thing the Brewmaster does is that gives you stamina equal to the potion's health that it heals. Looks like there's an axe, a mace, a scythe, and a whip. So four weapons there. So we'll hand these cards out as needed, or maybe just keep them off to the side here to use. Now, one other thing to understand is one character did take damage. That was the rogue, and so the rogue could heal one if I'm willing to spend a cube off of and I'm going to do that. So we'll show you how this works. I'm going to heal one on the rogue. Now, how did I do that? Well, I spent one from the practice kit here that lets me roll a wisdom check. So I got to roll at least 2 on the wisdom check. I rolled an 11 right there, and then I add 1 more for a 12. So technically I healed 2 health instead of 1, but I'm at my max. I only needed 1. So that takes this cube off the practice kit, but I could spend a mana to replenish them all. And so if I'm willing to spend my 1 mana that he has, that's the one thing that's going to hurt. But I'm not going to. I'm going to wait until the kit's empty, or we'll just replenish it in town, or whatever it is that we need to do. Okay, so now that we've gone through those basic things, we have to deal with this. Okay, so we got some items to go through here. So there's a moist glove. I'm not a big fan of the name, but it is an armor item. And it will at least provide one armor to somebody. Nobody has it. It does go on the bottom left corner, which is the right hand. So who do we give that to? Well, I'm going to give it to our healer first. So we'll put it there. Then we have a weak helm. Same principle. No clue who the right person should be, because it all depends on who's getting attacked at the time. It was our rogue getting attacked this last time, so I'll give it to the rogue. And then we have a rotting cuff. I mean, technically speaking, we should probably be giving this all to the same person. So, for example, the right arm, and if I gave him the helm, right? So we're just arming one person completely out. Then we got the greasy cuff, right? Goes on the other side. And then the moldy shoes will help with the feet. And then we have an old knapsack, and here's the other glove. Yeah, so we might as well, let's just pimp him out. And then come back. Okay, so the knapsack really does only heal stamina. And I'm going to give that to the rogue. Well, hold on. Where does this go? Should hold some supplies. It's a ref 3. Where do you equip it? It's a minor action. It's a belt item that you put on your belt. Well, there's only one character that needs a belt item. That's this one. So the rogue has a belt item, so does the mage, so does the cleric. So we're going to put it on Tippy here. So that's the only place it can go. Unless I want to remove a belt item from one of the other characters. That's fine. So we do that. And then we have a potion. And if this ends up being a belt item, we're in trouble. It's a flask for holding potions. And the potion is also a belt item. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Look at this. We actually have another belt item on the other side. You can have two belt items. So we're going to give the potion to our healer. That just makes sense to me. Like, we keep those things with him, and then he has the brewmaster skill. So as he's handing out the potions, everything's all in one place. So we'll do that. Okay. Sorry about things. I think we are good there. So now we're going to get back to the guide. So we gave the 6 items that are armor equipped. We did the knapsack and potion. We all gained 1, and we should have 3 each, which we do. Talking about experience points. Okay, now you're ready to leave camp. Continue your conversation with Thades and choose the leave topic, and it instructs you to draw EVT 1. So this guy here, if you choose to leave, I think it was on, I thought it was on the back. Where is the leave? Continue your third. There should be a spot where he says, "Are you ready to start the hunt?" And then it says, "Yes, draw event 1." Choose the leave topic. Continue your conversation. I don't see the leave topic on there. Did I... So for the missing dummy, it's not on there. You know what? This event 0. No. That's not it either. I would swear I saw it somewhere. It's definitely not on him. Or him. I am so confused. How is it that I lost that? Let me pause and regain my sanity here. Oh my gosh, I think we've been playing with the wrong one. See, this says NPC 0 and then it has a B. Look at this. NPC 0 with an A. We were using the wrong one the whole time. Oh my gosh. There's nobody in the comments that even mentioned this. So anyways, there you can see we have 2 Guild Leader Thades cards, and this probably explains what the state change means. This is the one we were supposed to start with. If you want a little warm-up, go hunting squirrels, you can fight the practice dummy. And then you do all these things, and then there's the leave option. So we come over here, and we say the guild has been established. Squills are small wooden coins. I was working on a more powerful dummy, one that would really challenge you, but it's gone missing. Anyway, the old one still works fine. And that's why, when we brought him back, he was like, oh, well, thank you, So anyways, are you ready to start the hunt? And now we're supposed to say yes. See that? And then draw event 1. That's what it's asking us to do. So this Guild Leader B is for later. I'm not supposed to have him out yet. And I feel so foolish for grabbing the wrong one. Gotta pay more attention next time. So then we grab event 1, which there's an A on that one. Okay, the mist of the morning is beginning to clear off. All the exiles packed and ready to embark gather around the fire. Thades rises and addresses everyone. This is the moment you've been waiting for. The hunt is about to begin. Remember to keep your guild pins visible so the locals know you're hunting squills. Alright. Having been an exile myself, I've dedicated my life to helping the downtrodden and the outcasts. I'm sure you all have your reasons for being here. As Thades speaks, you think about your own exile. Draw and secretly read, but do not share with the other players, a key card based on your character. So these key cards are based on the race that you have. Then go forth and remember your training. Thades finishes. And then we grab NPC 0B, which is the one we just had. And then this will get trashed. I'm assuming that... okay, so now I'm going to look at the guide that's stepping us through this. So we grab the new card. We're going to have to grab the keys for those cards. And then, yes, it wants us to upgrade the NPC 0 from A to B. So now we're going to get out the NPC card that we've had all along. And it says, this directs you to change NPC 0 to the B state. To do so, search the deck for another NPC card, which becomes the active version of NPC 0. The version you had up until now is placed in the inactive deck. Then banish EVT 1. You're adjacent to NPC 0, so you can talk to them again because the state changed, and they have new things to say, and you'll gain another RP, which we have one character left that needs one, so we'll get one for the last character. So characters and locations can change states as you play. These changes are carried over from session to session, allowing the game to remember what you've done. Remember, just because something changed doesn't mean you can immediately interact with it. Some actions will alter the states of locations or characters that are far away. Okay, so getting back to the point, NPC 0, the one that should have been here since the beginning, and we just briefly got to see, is gone. So we're going to grab EVT1 before we make it go away. And what they're saying is this is the inactive NPCs. They're saying put NPC 0 back here in the inactive. And I'm sorry, the camera is not quite high enough. So we're going to put it here in the active. And I happen to notice there's an NPC 0 in the inactive behind it. That's a C. And there's a D and an E. So there's a lot more state changes. But the one that we're going to grab now is NPC 0B, which is the one we already saw, per se. So, yeah, sorry for the confusion there. And then, yeah, now we got to go through and grab all these key cards. So, the first one is a halfling, and it says key HA, and I'm going to try to grab it. I don't think you need to necessarily watch. I got key 1, key 15, 33. I'm looking for keys that have a letter. I don't see any. So these are based on your character, key HA. I see key 1, key 2, key 3. These are numbers. I don't see keys. Here, let me show you. So here's the key section. The very first one is a key 1, right? And then as you go through, they're all numbers. See? Key 67. Then even in the back, key 100, key 151. This is the inactive keys. So we have 152. And let me put the camera down. Maybe the inactive keys has it. I'm going way in the back now. That's key 515. They're all numbers. I'm looking for possible letters, but all I see are numbers. Oh, I found them. I don't know why, but they're in between right here. They're after, there's a 904, and then it goes in. So there's a 904, and then it goes. I'm trying to find a way to keep the camera level here. So there's a 904. Then it gets into the keys, and then after those keys end, it continues with numbers again, which is really bizarre. Like there's a key 68 and other numbers way in the back here, which I don't understand. I don't understand that at all. That's so confusing. Okay, so in the inactive, I'm looking for HA for halfling, DW for dwarf. What else do I got? I got a fellish, which would be an FE, and then a Fey, which is FA. Okay, so it's just the first two letters of each class. So I'm sorry, I'll try to get on camera here for you to at least see something of what I'm doing. I'm more interested in just getting this accomplished. So this is always painful, having to go through all these cards. I understand there's probably not an easier way. This is why I like apps. Okay, so this is a human one, an elf. Here's the halfling one. Orc, feline. I don't remember what SL is. Fey, FA. Let's see. I'm missing the dwarf one. And somehow, there it is. There's the dwarf one. Alright, so we got 4 of them. Now, you're supposed to keep these secret, but I'm playing solo, so I don't know what good that's going to do me. So for the halfling, keep this card secret from other players for now. You have a steel ring. This is the feline. Has a heavy silver coin. The Fey has a scroll. And the dwarf has a braid. Alright, so with that said, I'm just going to give this card to each of the characters, so it's in their card pile. Alright, we're done. With this, we've upgraded NPC 0 to B. Then it says trash the card. So we will do that. We will banish the card. Okay, so all that work. Now it says leave location. Let's leave location and head out to the world map to explore further. Players move to the hex E2 pointer on Big 0. From there, take the leave location action. All players place their miniatures on the mode token. Adventure side up. Our location is represented by the party token. Put all area maps back into their respective active decks, maintaining the ascending order. Okay, so there's a lot it's asking us to do here. So first thing we're going to do is we move and say we're going to leave hex E2. And then they're saying to take this adventure map and all of our miniatures go on that. And then it's like, you know, technically it's off, you know, over here. Right, so we're all on that. And then it's just telling us to put all these away. So the threat deck, I'm not going to bother putting the threat deck away because I have a feeling I'm going to be getting it out often. So I'm just going to put it plus the threat counter thingamajiggy. We'll just turn it on its side and move it out of the way for now. Same with the dice. And then we do have to put this away. And in case you were wondering, we have all the decks look like this. So they're small. There is an inactive, which, you know, we can move to the back. Well, actually, technically, they're all inactive. And then we have an active, which is in the front here. So this map, or this little dungeon doohickey, is active. So it's going to go between after the inactive, but before the inactive. Okay, that's it. That's all it's trying to tell you to do. And then we have a medium here, same deal. We got to do a similar type of thing. So we have, you know, sorry the camera is not showing enough. In this case, the active is in this one has the active in the back, which I think I'm going to move it to the front because I like that system more. And it's a tighter fit when they're all in there, so bear with me here. Get that slid in. And there we go. And then the big map, same deal. So we got this really large big map. Same deal, the active is in the back on this one. Actually, where is the active on this one? Yep, it was in the back. I will move it up to the front. And then let's get this guy put away as well. Alright, done. There was only one map type we haven't opened yet. It's this long one. I probably should do that one time when we're between videos. And what it's saying is we're moving back to this. Right, so we left, and you can see that our party is here on the camp location. And that's where we are right now. So let's see what it tells us to do next. Okay. Oh, before we left, we were supposed to talk to him. And remember, he was talking about how the village was up north, and then the pests were left in north, right? And I think it might have been referring to this. So this is the village, and this might be where the pests are. And with that said, we would have gained another one of those role-playing tokens, and so now all 4 characters have at least one. And we're good there. And in case you were challenging it, right there, there's the role-playing token. We gave it to ourselves when we mistakenly had this one, but the other one also had one on it, so we're fine. They all work out in the end. just, wrong card, but the same order is appropriate. Okay, so for explored cleared maps and cards, return them to the index face up. Since you have cleared, you return these face up to indicate the next time you enter. Okay, so what it's trying to say is we explored this and cleared it. So instead of having this like this, right, they're telling us to switch it around so the explored side is face up, like that. That means it's been explored. Alright, so I'm just going to real quickly do that to the other two. And that makes sense. That's your way of memorizing. Like, you're not going to memorize which ones you've explored and which ones you didn't. And this is just an easy way. So when you pull the map out, the side that's visible to you indicates whether it's been explored or not. Makes total sense. Alright, done. And then it's saying the same thing with unexplored cards. So, for example, the point of interest in Guild Leader Thades, cleared cards ID is on the right, whereas the unexplored ones have ID on the left. So, for example, putting these two back, I can do it like this, so they're on the right, or I can do it like this, so they're on the left. That's what it's getting at. And so, sure, I'll put the NPC 01 on the right, and then this one was NPC 161. I mean, technically we did explore them, so I will also put that one to the right, even though he's arguably not supposed to have been explored, but that's okay. And yeah, we'll put him in. So that just means, so that's pretty cool. So as you pull the cards out, you'll know which cards you've already spoken to by doing that kind of method. You have to be consistent, of course, but so it's doing a good job of explaining the system. I like the system. That's not a horrible one. And then they're showing they're cleared, because what that means is you can't earn the role-playing point again from those. So that's the reason why we had even the 161, we spoke with him and got the role-playing point. So we do need to put it the right way, which we did. Okay, so then the faux cards don't have a cleared state, so you can return them as you found them, which is fine, because we returned that a long time ago. Alright, so now we're exploring the world map, according to this. From Hexy 2, we can re-enter Big Zero, the one we just came from. You can also interact with Point of Interest 1 directly from the world map, because it's listed on the hex. So, if you look on here, Point of Interest 1 and Big Zero are both listed there. So at any point, you can just pull out the Big Zero map, or pull out Point of Interest 1, and why is it that I don't remember Point of Interest 1? Oh, we never interacted with Point of Interest 1. Point of Interest 1 is the Exiles camp. Oh, they're telling us to interact with it now. Okay. It was the Point of Interest 0 that we interacted with and cleared. And so it's suggesting that I also put that one back as cleared. And I'll do that right now. Okay. Point of Interest 1. They're telling us to interact with that now. So these are... The town actions are divided into categories thematically. Different towns have different options, but this town is also the location of the Exile Guild and has some special options. Alright, so it says, a small group of patched together tents is here. Exiles mill about, helping each other as best as they can. Then we flip it over, and these are the actions that are available. We can rest, draw a day card, Whole party replenishes health, mana, and stamina. Shuffle the travel deck. Refresh travel tokens. Stash. We can stow, retrieve, or sell items for their money value. Path training. We can level up. Spend experience to level up. Max level is 4. When you gain level 3, there's an event. Train. We can change active skills from among your learned skills. Retrain. You may pay to unlearn your current skills and learn new ones. And there's an event. Exile market. Looks like for $1 leftovers, add 1 cube to all fully empty potion knapsack items for the whole party. And for 1 cube, you can repair 5 worn tokens, worn damage tokens. New member help. You may take each exile's market action for free once per day. Okay, so I get the basic gist of what all these mean. Let's go through the tutorial and have it tell us the things that I haven't figured out on my own. So it's saying different towns have different options, but this town is also the location of the guild. Level up. You can spend experience points to increase your level. Train. Eventually you'll have more path skills than you can equip. This lets you choose which ones you have equipped. Retrain allows you to unlearn skills and learn new ones. Leftovers. Add 1 marker to all the party's empty knapsack or potion items. I think the word empty means that you have an missing cube. It doesn't mean completely empty. Let me... never mind. I am corrected. It specifically says, leftovers action lets you add 1 marker to each empty knapsack or potion item. You do not add 1 marker to knapsacks or potions that already have 1. Totally wrong. Pay 1. Oh, excuse me. That was a big yawn. Pay 1 to repair up to 5 durability for the party. And yes, it's saying you can just remove like 1 from here and 2 from there, etc. New member help once per day. This is the one I didn't understand. You can take both the leftovers and apprentice smithy actions for free. A new day begins every time you draw a card from the day deck. This is explained more in detail later. If you have any wear tokens in your armor from the practice dummy fight, go ahead and take the new member help now to remove those. So I had exactly 1. It was on the rogue, because we only got attacked once. So that's gone. And that's it. And it's free. Like, I didn't have to pay for that, because it's a once per day free thing to do. The leftovers, we don't have anything that's empty. We do have one of our knapsacks is missing 1 because I healed my party. What does it say? So the whole party, if I rest, I can draw a day card and refresh everything. So I'm going to go ahead and do something like that. I don't know if it's going to tell me to do that now, but here's what I'm going to do. The action up here, the prepare bandages, I can spend 1 mana to replenish all my kits. Or replenish 1 kit. So what I have here in this situation is I'm low on mana here. I'm low on stamina with at least 1 character. I'm low on mana with this character and this one. So we're low on mana with a bunch of them. I don't think I've taken any health damage on any of them. But basically, a rest will replenish all that. So I would like to rest. Let me see if it's going to tell us to. It says, note, other towns, let me just help you see the note. Other towns let you pay K to refill your knapsacks and potions, as well as repair durability, but only the Exiles Guild lets you do these for free once per day. Okay, fair enough. There are some things that it keeps mentioning that I'm not familiar with. Number 1, we have these day cards, right? So it looks like there's some that are active, and then we have these travel cards. So I'm going to get these out right now. These are the active travel cards, right? I'm trying not to look at them. They look like this on the other side, and I'm just going to get them out and set them off to the side because there are 1 through 12. So it's almost like the threat deck. There's 12 of them, and I'm assuming we're going to need these for when we start traveling soon. So I'm just going to set those out. And then, like I said, I would like to rest to replenish my stuff. Let me see if it's going to let us do that. It's going to take us straight to world travel pretty soon here. Okay, let's do it. I want to rest my guys. So it says to draw a day card. Whole party replenishes everything. Shuffle travel deck and refresh travel tokens. So here's the travel deck. We're going to go ahead and shuffle that real quick. The day deck only has like 2 or 3 cards. So there's not a lot of options at the moment. I'm still shuffling the travel deck. This is good enough for government work. And then the day deck, I'm pulling those out. Sorry, hard to grab sometimes. Alright, there are literally 3 day cards. So I'm going to flip these over and start shuffling. Alright. So let's grab the top one. Day 3, which is a harmonious day. First time this card is drawn, add travel 46 to the bottom of the travel discard pile. So travel, bear with me, I gotta find 46 here. So travel 46. So we're going to add it to the bottom of the discard pile, which I guess is there. I don't have a discard pile, so I guess it would be face up because that's the discard pile. I just won't look at it. If the day deck is empty, when you need to draw, add day 4 to the deck and immediately remake the day deck face down. Draw the top card of the day deck. It should be, in sequential order, from the lowest on top to the highest. See, that's what I get for trying to do an action before they tell me to. So this should be in day order. I'm sorry, I shouldn't shuffle them. So 1, 2, 3, and that means that the travel thing does not come out yet. So this goes back in the... Oh no, I lost my spot. There we go. It goes back in. Alright, so all that to say is I just wanted to replenish my dang stuff. So 1 mana for the ranger, 1 mana for the rogue, 1 stamina for the rogue, and then 1 mana for the priest. Everybody is healed up. Day 1 is a beautiful day. There's no special rules. And day 1 is done. So I will turn it face down. Okay, let's quit deviating from what they tell us to do. So we're going to do the level up town action. Looking at your character card, note that the XP cost for level 1 is exactly 3. So let's grab a character card from one of the characters here. So this is the halfling. And yes, you can see that the XP cost is here, and it's 3, then 5, then 7, etc. Okay, so I see that. and it's exactly 3 to level up. Each player should have 3 experience points at this time. Each exile spends the 3, removing it from their supply. I'm going to grab that off camera here. I hope you don't need to watch that part. Alright, so we got the 4. They all say 3 on them. Okay, so everybody is now at 0 experience points, but we've all leveled up to level 1. Now, one thing I can tell you is we had these prepared, and there is this level 1 doohickey, and I'm pretty sure we're going to be putting that on our character here. But let's see what else we get to do. So it says each spends the 3. Mark the level 1 box on your character card. I am not going to mark that box. I am going to use this and to know which boxes to look at. I am not writing on my cards. It does have an asterisk. Arydia is designed such that character attributes can be fully tracked using components provided without the marking of cards. This guy thought of everything. However, it is advisable to mark cards in the event components are shifted out of place. You can lightly mark with a pencil. You know, if it's really that important to you, I would just recommend you just get a new sheet of paper or a note card. You know, like just like an index card, and then you can write on that as much as your heart's content. But we're going to go ahead and just put this like I was showing you, and it goes right here. They have a spot for it, level 1. And so as long as that's there, I know to look at level 1 on here. And then we just have to grab the level 1 from each one. So here's the level 1 for the feline. And I'm realizing I needed to put some markers away. And then my cords aren't going to be long enough. I got to stand up and reach across the table here. There's level 1 for the Fae. And then level 1 for our Dwarf. Okay, they all have the level 1 markers. Let's keep reading. There's still a few more steps. Moving down the level 1 column, we're up here. Mark one of the 3 available stats. Move the chosen max to the new maximum, then refill all. In the same level 1 column, mark one of the available 6 attributes, placing the matching attribute skill token into the slot as shown. Oh, this is where it's going to get tricky. The last step is to learn a new skill. You can learn any skill as long as you have already learned the prerequisites. Prerequisites are any skills with an arrow pointing to another skill. Take a skill with no prerequisites from your skill tree. Place it in your character mat, keeping it face down. Place a mastery token, minus side up, onto the skill tree to show you've learned that skill. You may mark the learn box on the back of your path as well. Each player should find matching rule cards for the learned skill and read through it to understand how it works. Alright, there's a lot to this. So they are asking us to, when you level up, you're going to get just one of these 3, and then one of these many things down here. That's what it's saying to you. And then we're going to grab a skill, which I have to look at. And let's see what all the flavor text says. So, first things first, it's telling us to put the level 1 there, which we did. Then it's saying the chosen stat was, so because we have to choose just one of the 3 stats. So if you choose the magic points or mana points, then you get to shift your max and then fill your mana accordingly. Then it's saying when you choose an attribute, it's increased to exactly the amount specified in that column. So if it was a 0, it gets upgraded to a 2. So choosing endurance for level 1, you place an endurance 2 token. If at level 2 you choose wisdom, your wisdom attribute will be a 3. So it's just whatever you choose for that time. So that's an interesting conundrum because like I chose the attributes that matched what my character needs, but I could actually wait to level 3 and then boom, I'm all the way up to Wisdom 3. I went from Wisdom 0 to Wisdom 3 in one shot. That's an interesting mechanic. I'm not sure I like it. Then looking at the warrior skill tree, there are 4 skills that you can learn at level 1, all right here. Because they do not have prerequisite arrows pointing at them, and when leveling up, you choose one. Any skill for which you've already learned the prerequisites. If you want to learn Warning as the warrior, you would need to Field Prepares, Taunt, and Protect first. You need to learn Taunt before Protect, due to Protect's prerequisite. Otherwise, the order is flexible. And then over here, all learned skills remain face down and unusable until you have mastered it. To master a skill, you'll need to fulfill the mastery requirement. Smite reads, to master, deal 6 or more wounds in one turn. As soon as you fulfill the requirement, flip the skill and mastery token. Face up, it is now mastered. Interesting. Eureka moment. If the mastery requirement has the Eureka icon, you get an instantaneous one-time benefit. When mastered, you may immediately use this skill as a reaction without paying any costs. Alright, so lot to process there. And that's the level up. I thought for sure that if I was level 1, okay, yeah, fine, we choose one of these. I thought for sure I could come back to town and spend, money or something, and then get the other ones. But that's not what it's saying here. And so you can see, like, you're checking one stat each level, and then checking one attribute each level. This can be brutal. So, what do we do? Well, let's start with the hunter. So right now, hit points are 3, mana is 2, stamina is 2. I ended up spending mana because I need to spend mana for my mark action, and I spend 1 mana every time I use the mark to apply another damage. So a part of me is like, well, hey, let's raise up the mana, because mana at the next level will go from a 2 to a 3. Or I can move this from a 3 to a 4, or I can move the stamina from a 2 to a 3. So, or if I wait till next level, I can move this from a 2 to a 4. Because remember, it's just, you get the value of whatever level you're in. So you get to, like, jump. If you didn't, like, upgrade it for a while, you get to automatically jump it up. I don't think the 3 hit points is a concern at the moment. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to assume I don't necessarily need to move as much, which is what the stamina would do for me, because I have range attack. So, I mean, I may have to move, but not as much. So I am going to raise the max mana to 3, and that will move us to there. Now, you might ask yourself, okay, how are you going to remember that? Well, my max says 3, and I'm a level 1 character, and right now, that's the only thing that's above what the current X is. I mean, it's a little bit of deduction skills, but you can figure it out. Or I'm going to go grab some index cards, and we'll write it all down. And I think I'm going to go do that. So I'm going to pause and come back, and we'll sort it out. Okay, so I was able to get it all into one index card. So I made like a nice little grid like so. And basically, so at level 1, the ranger took, they took mana. So I'm just going to do an M for mana. And then we got to decide, okay, which skill is the ranger taking? So this is where it gets interesting. Like, does the ranger ever need strength, for example? Like, are they going to be asked to do strength checks through their skills? I'm going to say no, they're not. But, like, is it possible, like, you're going to have an event card where everybody ate some porridge that had questionable materials in it, you know, and then they got a little sick, and so now you got to do a strength check to see if they're gonna get sick, and so that's where hey, it would have been nice to have a strength of 2 or 3 or whatever. I don't know that answer. So what it seems like is to your benefit, it would be it's like dexterity or endurance are the things that they need the most. But like, do I actually check endurance each time? I'm only going to move up 1 each time I level up. I'm actually better off upping my dexterity to 2, waiting until level 3, and then my endurance jumps from 1 to 3 all in one go. That's what makes this interesting. So I'm looking at the halfling scout, and it looks like endurance is the most important. So which one do I do first? Do I do endurance and then later come back and then get dexterity caught up, and then sort of flip-flop back and forth between the two? Or do I constantly take endurance every time? It's a fascinating decision making. It's frustrating because I won them all. So we took the mana for sure. And which one am I going to take for the level 2? Well, the snipe does require endurance, so I am going to take an endurance. There's part of me that, oh no, the practice hunting knife uses dexterity, but the bow uses endurance. It just makes me wonder, like, why would I never pick the endurance? Like, every one single point matters, if that's the skill you're always using. If I'm never using dexterity, it doesn't help me to upgrade the dexterity. Am I overthinking this? Yes, I am. I think for now I'm going to take the endurance. So I'm just going to put, so I'm looking here, SDIWCE. Good. So the first letter of everything is unique. So I'm going to put an E down. That shows that I took endurance with the ranger. And so all that means is I come over here and the endurance 1 now becomes endurance 2. Like so. Now the last thing we got to do with the ranger is we then take this big thing, and we're going to get one of these 4 skills over here on the left. And as you can see from the arrows, I mean, I can't take any of the skills to the right if my life depended on it. So what are those skills? So you can see poultice at the top. It's what does RNG 6? Does that really just mean it's a Ranger 6 skill? RNG standing for Ranger, even though this is a Wanderer. Yes, it does. So even in his head, he knew this was a Ranger, even though he called it a Wanderer. All right, so poultice is to master at Teakle Forest, pay 1 and succeed an int 12 check. Ooh, this would be why you would want int. So now if I push down on this, I can pop this out. What does the poultice skill do? And here you can see for mana, for each paid, you can heal 2. So this is a way to turn him into a healer. What an interesting skill. So you don't need healers per se. And now you need this as a prerequisite to get sharpen, which is a survival and hunting skill. And then you need that to do a make camp. Now we could pop these out, or we have the cards right here. So right here, the poultice one, you can see has that. And can I target multiple exiles? No. You have to pay as much as you want, and then that exile heals double what you paid. So then this other skill, sharpen, You can see they're the yellow ones, right? And yellow lines up with the survival, right? So learn the way of the land. So sharpened weapon makes a basic attack plus 20 to the roll. That's amazing, actually. And then the make camp, you rest, draw a day card. Each exile replenishes. So it's basically an action you can do outside of combat without needing a town. So you can basically, and then there is a refresh. It costs 1, but only at town. So it's basically a rest without a town type of action. Then you have pathfinding. This is one of the ones we can take now. So while out of combat, you can refresh all travel tokens. I don't know how useful that is because I don't know what traveling means yet. And yes, you can do it after you've drawn a travel card, but before you resolve it. So you know you need tokens to resolve that card. You can use this to resolve that. That's sort of cool. Swift as a wolf is a stride hunting or staggering shot. So, and then we got sure as, like, you could study forever, right? You got sure as a goat. You treat difficult borders as if they're normal. Flashing steel. Make a basic hunting knife attack. After being attacked, you get to flash attack back. So that's that one. Swift as a wolf. This is the next one we can get. It costs a mana. I'm glad I upgraded our mana. 6 movement, or pay 1 for 8 movement instead. After moving, if you're adjacent to the marked foe, plus 1 combo points. Interesting. And how do I determine adjacency for the skill? Yep, okay. Snake Strike. You must be holding a hunting knife to use this skill. Harpoon arrow. Make a basic bow attack. Pull yourself towards the foe any number of squares, and then make a hunting. So this is like really good for melee. Staggering shot. Make a bow attack, decreasing the minimum range by 1, or increasing maximum by 1. If it hits a foe, shift that foe 1 square or 2 squares. And shift, by the way, means you move them. And you can move them towards you. It doesn't have to be away. You defy physics in a way. Instead of that foe is marked. So the foe up to 1 square or 2 squares instead of that foe. That doesn't even make English sense. Can you shift in any direction? Yes. Does the increased stack with special arrows in a quiver? Yes. That foe has the cube from the mark skill. So it's basically an automatic mark. Target a foe. Check endurance. Apply damage. Then resolve any wounded weak points. If you hit the foe, shift the foe. How does this skill interact with Ricochet? Interesting. And I think this means to say if that foe is marked. If it hits a foe, shift that foe up to 1 square or 2 squares instead if that foe is marked. I think that's supposed to be an if, personally. Which is fine, actually. This is the skill I think I want, because I want to improve our bow skills. But let's look at, so the next one after this is Ricochet and then Fire Arrow. So Ricochet, when you make a basic bow attack, the attack targets an additional foe. And then the Fire Arrow costs 2 mana. Choose a corner of a square in range of your bow. And so basically you hit everything, all the foes adjacent to that corner. So I mean, it's actually good, but it's like, man, this is a mana heavy character. Do I want him to be a mana heavy character? I actually think that the healing, along with the plus 20, along with making a camp, might be the most practical of them. As a normal action, while a foe you can see is at exactly 2 or 5, pay 2 combo, and then there's a bonus that you get. So I'm assuming the bonus you get is you get to do it right away. It's not hard to unlock this one. Then you can push them around and do stuff, which is cool. Technically, I can grab 3 more skills without breaking a sweat. It's after that point that I need to make room. I don't necessarily need the healing ability of Poultice. The reason I would choose it is because I'm trying to get to make camp, which you can see is actually a hard one to do. You need both of these, and then that one. It's one of the hardest ones to get. Whereas down here, it's 1, 2, boom. You can get them, all 3 of them, right away. And then the harpoon arrow requires you to go down both these paths to get to that one. I think for now I'm gonna go for damage. So let's take the staggering shot, and I'll put this back. So out of all these cards, we're gonna add staggering shot. Where did it go? Here it is. I got it for the bow. We're going to master the bow. So we're going to go ahead and add that to the skills for the person. Then what it's saying we do is we put this on here with this side up, and then we take one of these tokens and put it on like so, probably over the name, or maybe down there. I'd put it over the name, and then you have to, do whatever that says that we just read, and then that little lightning bolt means you get to use a skill. So the moment we do that, then it just costs us 2 instead of the normal 1, and then we get to use the skill, and then bam, we have it unlocked. All right, so that's it for him. I don't need to write that one down. We have that skill figured out. So now it's a rinse and repeat for everything else. And I don't know how boring this is for you guys. But we'll go ahead, and now we got to figure out for the rogue, what are we going to do? And it might behoove you to figure out what skills you want, because that might dictate like what you're going to level up. Like this, I'm noticing I need mana really bad, so I'm glad I upgraded the mana right now. But I'm probably going to be upgrading the mana a lot with that one. Okay, so we get to the rogue. Same deal. Do we need mana? Do we need... I have 3 stamina with my rogue right now, which is, I think, fairly good. I only have 2 hit points. And I think this is the part where I need to maybe look at our card, because we want to see what the options are. Alright, so for the rogue here, it's just a 1 bump for all 3. And, we were short on the mana, but I think we're also short on the hit points. But if I wait 1 more, see, these bump up by 1 each, but look at that. That bumps up by 2. So if I could bump a whole 3 if I wait and get the hit points there. So I think for now, I'm going to go ahead and take a mana point for the rogue. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do Now, why do I need a mana point? I use the mana points for something. I would swear I do. Oh, for the backstab. So I'm going to do a mana point for the rogue. And now this is an interesting one. Do I do dexterity or charisma? I think charisma does help me. Dexterity, of course, helps my rolls. Charisma helps me with when I finish the job, I could possibly get more money. Charisma also helps me with the traps. That's the thing. The traps hit based on charisma. So I'm probably going to want to alternate back and forth between these. So that way I'm going up by +2 each time. So which one do I do first, though? That is the bigger question. Well, am I going to do backstab more, or am I going to do the trap more? Also a great question. I'm going to go ahead and do charisma. So I'm going to do a C, and we'll flip the charisma to 2. And then we increase the mana, so that goes to a 3. And then we got the same dilemma as before. And I got to remove a bunch of tokens so I can pick this up. We got to make a lot of decisions here. All right. So you can sort of see the path there. Alright, so blue is stealth, orange is blades, red is tricks, vials is green, and yellow is tools. So I really do like the traps. So here you have to just pay money. Here, yeah, we don't know what they do. Those are just how you unlock them. Okay, starting up here on the top, there's Shadow Step. So it's 2 movement points if you're hidden 4 instead, and treat difficult borders as normal. So that just gives you a lot of nice movement while you're hidden. Acrobatics is a skill, costs stamina. After you finish an action, you get to do 2 move and gain a combo. Evade, which is here, 2 mana. When you're attacked, you can do a dex. If you get a 12, you succeed, you get +2 basically damage absorption for the attack. Success or failure, after the attack, you get to shift diagonally. That's not bad at all. Vicious Blade. You have to be holding a dagger. Looks like you can hit all 4 opponents, sort of like the Valor one. And if you're hidden, those are also piercing. Impale, which is the middle one here. You must have a kunai. Make a basic kunai, that's the throwing dagger attack. If you're hidden, remain hidden. Okay. Eviscerate, which is at the end. You must be holding a dagger, 2 mana. When you use backstab, use the same result as backstab, deal bonus damage accordingly. What does bonus damage accordingly mean? Do I need to pay mana for Eviscerate before seeing the result of my backstab? Yes, because Eviscerate specifies that it's used with backstab and uses the same result. Oh, so it's like double damage. Do a weak points resolve between backstab and Eviscerate? No, because it's bonus damage. Apply it immediately after the backstab along with any other bonus. Then resolve the wounded weak points if you didn't. Interesting. So it's same result as backstab. It's bonus damage. Wow, so that's a double damage thing. That is massive. Poison. When you wound a foe, place a poison token on it. When a poison foe activates, deal X to a grid adjacent to the poison token. Alright, so you're putting a green poison token on him, and then you can do damage adjacent to that poison token. And it costs 1 mana to refresh while out of combat. That's not horrible at all. Misdirect. Target a foe you can see. Check Charisma and choose where the foe moves. If it's adjacent to another foe, the misdirected foe deals damage to the other foe. So it's sort of like a befuddling thing. Catalyst. When a poison foe activates, the poison damages all adjacent grids instead of only one. Oh, wow. When a poison foe is defeated, refresh the poison in combat. That is fantastic. Okay, those three are really nice. Now, I did notice something right here in our red damage. There is one green crystal. That's because that's the poison one. So very interesting that it was buried in the middle of all the red ones, but it is there, and there's it's meant to be poison, like Alice in Chains would sing. Got poison running through my veins. Your lips are covered with poison. I don't want to break these chains. Okay, pickpocket. Only while adjacent to the highest initiative foe, check Dex 20 with +10 if you're hidden. So you need a 20. You do get a +10 to your roll if you're hidden. On success, place 1 money from the supply on the foe's AI card, which you gain when you loot the foe. Max 1 pickpocketed money. On failure, add a threat and you're no longer hidden. Whoa. What an interesting take. Is that an action? Yes, it is. You have to spend an action point to do that. Alright, well that's pickpocket. And then next one is bandolier. You must have a kunai. You may pay from your bandolier as... does he have a bandolier already? No. So I don't understand. So we do have a kunai on our belt. You pay a cube from your bandolier, which I guess is this? No. As a cube for kunai on your belt. We don't have a bandolier though. I see a practice trap, a practice dagger, practice kunai. There's no bandolier. How does bandolier work if I have 2 kunai on my belt? Each time you use a cube from your bandolier, you may choose which kunai it matches. How do I know what a town is? Towns are marked on world map hexes. Alright, so I'm wondering if when you go to town, the mastery for this is you have to pay 5 money. I'm wondering if it's because you... Yeah, there it is. Bandolier is an actual skill. And so you actually have cubes on it. And then you use that to fuel your throwing dagger, I guess. Okay. That's interesting enough. And that's necessary to get to the trap expert. And it's after pickpocket. So you're going to use pickpocket to make the 5 money to pay for this. What a weird combo that is so far. And then this one, the trap expert. In combat, while adjacent to an ally or an obscure border, your sneak skill costs 0. Right now it costs 1. When using the trap action, placing trap tokens or trap reaction, you may do so at range 2 instead of 1. So it doesn't make them more powerful. How can I be adjacent to an obscure border? One or more borders on your fair is obscure. Am I an ally to myself? No. When counting range for placing or refreshing trap tokens, what borders matter? Traps are a melee type. So you just follow the melee symbol. Okay. That's so. I think at first blush I wanted expert traps because I thought it was going to make me better at traps. All it does is let me place traps further away, which I'm not saying stinks because, um, it hurts to have to get so close to the enemy. That's how I got damaged in the first place. I actually think I like the poison one the most because the poison seems to be an interesting with the damage mechanic. You could still use your throwing dagger, right, to poison somebody. So, and it actually would sync up well with the bandolier. It's almost like these two are the ones I like. The catalyst requires me to do both all the way. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take pickpocket first. I like the poison, don't get me wrong, but the pickpocket will help me to make some money, and I'm a money miser in any game. I always want money, money, money. So we're going to go ahead and do this. And it says, as a normal action, while hidden and adjacent to the highest initiative foe, you get to just automatically, bam. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. And I'm going to put that skill there and put the minus token on the skill to show that we still need to master it. And then off we go. So pickpocket is added to his cards, and then we put this away. And yes, this is taking a while, but again, this is the funnest part of the game, if you ask me. When you're leveling up, it's always supposed to be the funnest part of every game, and if it's not, then you're not going to ever like dungeon romping games. Okay, so that was the rogue. Now we're to the mage. Now the mage, it's about mana points and intelligence all the way. Sorry, my dog is wanting some attention. I'm sorry, little girl. I will play with you soon. Okay, so the mage, if you'll notice, we started with 1 hit point, which is pathetic, but it does jump up to 4 and 5 right away. So at level 3, I definitely want to take hit points. And here you can see the mana points stagnate here. So once you get to 7, there's no more jumps on the mana points. So there's actually like an argument that you can, take the mana points, get to 7, and then you take the hit points to get to 6, right? Because the mana points don't do you any good anyways. So it's a very interesting chart here. It doesn't go up linearly. And then you can see the stamina is a similar deal. The 4s are stagnant, and the 5s. So which one do I take now? You could argue I should take the mana points, but I have like a skill that reduces my mana cost by 2. I mean, it does cost me a lot of mana to do my skills. I only have 4. I mean, it's pretty easy to burn through it. I don't know how often you get to refresh in town. There's a part of me that's thinking, maybe get the stamina points up, because I may never get it up again the rest of the game, because I'm going to be, taking health or whatever. There are points here where the mana is stagnating, and I have to take something else. So I'm either going to take the health or the stamina anyways. What to do for the first go? No matter what, it's just a +1. In all honesty, mana is the king. So there's no reason not to take the mana. It cost me 2 mana to do a lightning bolt. That's the primary sucker upper of the mana. I do need wisdom if I use my sword. I know that has nothing to do with mana, but I'm just looking ahead here. You know what? I'm going to take the mana because I think I'm going to take the life when we get to 4. And then I'm going to take the mana at 7. And then when I get to here, I might actually take the stamina instead of the life because I'm already at 4. And then I'll take the 8 and then take the life or whatever. I do think now's the time to take a mana. So I will. And then I'm also going to take an intelligence as well. So we're going to maximize the strengths. They try to teach you this when you're a parent and you have kids in elementary school. Don't focus on the F's that they get, If they have like, 3 Fs but also have 3 As and Bs, right? That means they have strengths and they have weaknesses. And they tell you, don't focus on the Fs, focus on the As and Bs, because that's where your kid's strength is. And, you're going to make them exhausted if you focus on their weaknesses all the time. And you're going to make them motivated if you focus on their strengths. Well, first of all, I had just 2 boys, so I guess that's not statistically significant. But my kids have never fluctuated like that, where one particular set of classes are at F level and the other set of classes are at A. I don't even know, does any of you out there even have kids that did that? And I'm talking consistently. Like sometimes, okay, I got an F in gym. I get that. But like, are any of you out there, like, did you grow up and actually have that level of disparity? I mean, I guess it's theoretically possible that someone's just bad at math and they're good at everything else but not at math. I didn't experience that. So like they tell you to not. I mean, okay, they get a C and a C plus and some B minuses and a B plus. Like that's the range, right? And I got a son at West Point. He was all straight A's all the time, and so there was no such thing as that. Anyways, I'm off on a tangent, but we're gonna apply that here in my board gaming world. Even though it didn't work to my real kids, my board gaming kids, it's going to apply. We're going to maximize our strength. So mana is going up. So we're going to 4 on the mana, and then the intelligence we will boost to a 2. All right, and then get our skill board. And this, of course, is the time-consuming part as I'm ranting about kids and grade discrepancies. Okay, I'm looking real quick. We got, what do we got here? Chrono is time manipulation. That's the purple. Green is times, which is like it's almost like a bow. It's the little wand he has. Orange is elements. Have the elements do your bidding. Yellow is research. And then red is Estoc, that's the sword. Which I have no intention of using the sword. But watch me read those skills and say, oh, those are the best ones. That's usually what happens. Okay, blink. Must be holding a tines. Cost 1 stamina, gain 2. Place yourself on any occupied traversable square 2 spaces away. So it's a teleport. It is a minor action, which is nice. I do like this one. I think it's got a utility to it that's very nice. The stamina cost is poor because I only have 2. But it's not a bad option. The question then becomes, do I want the ones that are later on? So let's find out. This is falling into the chrono category. Alright, so the next one over is transposition. Target 2 normal-sized creatures, each in range 3, and have them swap. That is situational, not great. Then portals. Now, of course, we need that one for a million other ones, but anyways, let's do portals. Put your cube on a corner of your square and another cube from your supply on a corner of a square 4 away. Any exile adjacent to a portal on the map can use it as a free action. Okay, that can be helpful. Do I want that right away, though? What's interesting is this path is different. You need to get the middle one to even unlock this one. Right, so that's the 3rd skill in this tree. Here's another 3rd skill, and this is a 4th skill, the Wall of Stone. You need to actually go all 3 of these to get to there. So it's a very interesting problem. Elixirs. This is one of the research ones. When an adjacent exile rolls a d20, the exile rolls again and uses the highest result. So it's a chance. So basically, it's a free reroll. You get to spend 1 money to refresh everything at a town. That's not horrible. It's a prerequisite for flash freeze, so you can see there's actually 3 prerequisites just to get that one. So if I want the all coveted fireball, I have to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. This is getting a little interesting. Temporal Talons, which is this one. 2 mana. Do both in any order. Place yourself in an unoccupied square 2 spaces away. Target a foe in range of one of your tines. Check intelligence. Then damage the foe accordingly. So that would be your white range, your gray range. So basically you're attacking the guy from all directions. That's not horrible. The teleport and the attack makes it nicer. Then Wall of Stone, the one that you have to like get a million skills before you can do this. Create a free wall. Put your cube on a border of a square in range 4, representing a wall of stone. The border is now a wall. And walls meaning that nobody can move through it, nobody can attack through it. When the exile's next turn starts, remove the cube and the border returns to what it was printed on the map. It only lasts you 1 freaking turn. It is free though. It's not an action. But still. And it costs you a cube. I don't know how many cubes are on that skill. Let's find out. 2. So you can do 2 free walls. I'm sure that's going to be helpful on certain maps. And then you refresh them out of combat, so it's at least reusable. Okay, Ledgermancy, the other research one. We'll use it for a ledger on your belt. But Ledgermancy is a free action. You have a ledger on your belt to use this skill. It doesn't say what the skill does. Pay 1 as a ledger. I have no idea. What on earth does that mean? You have to pay 5 at the city of Eastgate to get this. I bet you need a ledger somewhere in the game. But here we go. Use Ledgermancy to gain mana as a free action. It's exactly the same as a cube on your actual ledger, except using this one as a free action. What the heck is a ledger? Oh, the belt item is called a ledger. That lets you regain mana. So this is saying, yeah, so it's extra cubes for restoring mana. Okay, that's not horrible. Alright, flash freeze. Look at that. You're standing here, and then bam, you're hitting all those. Each foe gains an ice marker. When a foe with an ice marker next activates, that foe has -1 movement for this activation. Remove its ice marker. Okay, that's not as exciting. It just reduces their movement. Fireball. Costs 5 mana. Choose the center square in range 6, then damage the snot out of everything around it. I mean, it at least lives up to its moniker. Swirling Winds, which is this bottom one here. Must be holding a Tine skill. Choose a cardinal direction. Shift each creature up to 1 square in the chosen direction. Choose 1 foe that's shifted to take damage accordingly. So it means you can move yourself too, and your allies, it looks like. And it says to take damage accordingly. says to master, shift a foe with twin missile twice in one turn. Interesting. Okay, that's Swirling Winds. Then Wind Slash is the sword one. That pushes targets away. Then the Tempest Blade. Target one foe with the basic S-Stock attack. Check Wisdom. Then use Path of Arcana skill that costs 1 or 2 mana for free. What's the Path of Arcana? I don't have that skill. There is no Path of Arcana skill. Oh, use a Path of Arcana. So any of the skills you can use for free for 1 or 2. So you could basically attack them with a sword and then lightning bolt them. Now that's pretty wild. You can target a foe, push them, target a foe with a basic attack. There's no push, I'm sorry. Then use 1 to 2 mana. So like lightning bolt costs 2. You can use your 2 mana to lightning bolt them. Alright, I remember I was laughing and saying that one would sound cool by the time it was all done. And it does. It does sound cool. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of any of these skills, to be honest. I mean, the Fireball one, of course, seems like the most juicy to me. The Portal seems utilitarian. The Blink seems like it would be a nice skill to just have. Everything else, I'm not so sure. The Elixirs one is at least helpful. How much do you want to bet I'm going to forget to ever use it? Oh, excuse me. If I take Blink, here's my problem. Blink, to me, is the favorite one of the 4 that are here. But if I take Blink, it will be helpful. Don't get me wrong, because I think being able to blink around the map will help a wizard. The issue I have is if I want to ultimately get Fireball or that Tempest Blade, Blink doesn't help me as a prerequisite. So I'm setting myself that much further behind from ever getting the master skill. So which is more important, having the most beneficial skill now or getting that master skill the quickest, like a Fireball? Because I do think having a Fireball is what I'm ultimately shooting for here. I mean, why would you take a mage otherwise? So with that in mind, I'm going to take Ledgermancy because, you know, why not? It gives me more mana points. It does require 5 money to be spent, which is going to be a tall order. I don't even have close to 5 money right now, but that's what we're going to do. We did take Pickpocket, so that will help. Okay, so the Ledgermancy is going to be added to the skills. We're going to put these away. This is definitely taking a while. My apologies if it's boring the snot out of you people. You can always fast forward, I guess. Alright, we're going to put that skill on. And you can see here I'm trying to get that skill to fit. And then we grab one of these little minus tokens and put it on like so. And I do think that they might have meant for me to put the minus token here. Like I flip this over and I put the minus token on this and then a check mark on it to show that it's been mastered. But I'm just going to flip it over when it's mastered. I don't know why I wouldn't. Like it's on this side when it needs to be mastered, then once it's mastered I flip it over. So I'm going to accomplish the same thing by doing it that way. This is more clear to me. Okay, last but not least, we got our dwarf here. Now the strength is important if I want to swing and hit, which is not awful. The wisdom, of course, helps with all the other skills. He is a cleric after all. So both of those skills do come in handy. So which one are we going to do? Well, let's look at his card first. See if there's any patterns that jump out. So for a dwarf, look at that health. It jumps quite a bit. So I don't want to take health right now. It jumps a bit, 2 points, if I wait one more time. Now the mana points sort of even out here. And the same with the stamina points. They start to even out as you go. But everything is just a bump of 1 right now. He's very low on mana. And he does need mana. So we're going to take mana. That skill that replenishes his kit uses mana. So that was an easy one. The next one is harder. Do we take the wisdom or the strength? So let's look and make sure that those are linear. The strength is linear. It does cap out at 10 here. The wisdom, same deal. So it's a eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I think for the starters, I'm going to take strength. And then I'll take wisdom later. And so, because I didn't go Path of Valor, this guy is supposed to be my hand-to-hand combat guy, even though he is my healer. So I will make him get a strength 2. And that might dictate what skills we're going to take too. As well, is what I should have said. But we'll see. Let's take a look here. Alright. Okay, so just to bear you out, the purple is healing, fighting back the darkness, staff, which might be what we need for our attacks, tactics, and study. Okay, so we got that going on. So let's see what the skills do for us. So we got straight across here. Straight across, actually a lot of skills needed for this one. And then, oh, look at this one. You got to go all the way across and then down to get that one. And then Pillar of Dawn at the end. Okay, it looks like there's some interesting ones on this one. This is where the Bard one, I think I would really like to see the Bard one. I honestly think that the Wanderer, the Ranger one, is looking boring. And the Bard one looks more fun so far. So, am I going to swap out a character? I might. I am looking at it. Everybody else seems to have a lot of fun little items. The Ranger one was very meh. Okay, so getting back to this. Form up. So this one is the mind is a formidable weapon. Choose an exile, give them 3 movement points, and gain 1. So this is sort of like a way to be, like you're like a commander, you're helping others. This one, you spend a cube, choose an exile 3 away and heal them 3. Shift any creature, including your own people, 2 squares, and it costs mana to refresh. It's not horrible. Bestiary. Reduce the threat by 2 and gain 2. That's also not horrible. Looks like it replenishes every rest as well. So not horrible. That's not a bad path. Balm, which is the healing path. Target 1 exile. Looks like it's next to you. When an exile with Balm starts their next turn, they heal 3 and remove the cube. So it's like a delayed heal thing. Bind Wounds. 2 mana. Target an exile. They heal 6. You may pay an additional heal 2 to heal 12. That's the amazing heal spell right there. That Luminaire. 5 mana. You heal 8. Allies at range 1 heal 3, and allies at range 2 heal 2. Then foes at range 1 take 3 damage, and foes at range 2 take 2. Holy crap! That is just like an amazeballs, like heal and damage everybody that's near you. Like if you're in the fray. Alright, that's going to require a lot of skills to get that one. I can understand why that one's pretty good. Wow. Alright, light. Cost you 2. Target a foe, check wisdom, and then damage them accordingly. So what's the damage on this one? Oh. There's a pierce. And then it damages either side depending on what you roll with your wisdom. That could be pretty good. What does that cost? 2. Okay, that's to focus. So you gotta have a focus on your belt skill, which, yeah, we do. Imbue armor. Target an exile, put a cube on their armor items. When an armor item is next hit, it counts as, it absorbs a wear token. It ignore all damage. And, okay, that's cool. Brilliance. 2 mana. When an exile in range of your focus is attacked, check wisdom, and that exile gains shield strength for that attack accordingly. So basically, they can block some of the damage. Smash. Gotta be holding a staff. Cost 2. It has to be somebody next to you. Check strength after the roll. You may pay 1 to make 1 damage piercing up to 5 times. Then damage the foe accordingly. 1 damage piercing up to 5 times, so... Which damage can I make piercing? Any damage from the smash attack pattern. For every stamina you pay, after seeing your roll, you choose 1 damage to become piercing. Bonus damage cannot be modified. I see. So you have to pay a stamina. So this is the damage pattern. After rolling, you may pay a stamina to turn any one of those into piercing. And since there's 5 of those, right, if you roll high enough in your roll, you would have to pay 5 stamina to make all 5 of those turn into piercing. That's what that's saying. Okay. I need to get this back in here. Then this Ray of Destiny, which you can't get unless you do all this nonsense. Must be holding a staff. It costs 5. Choose a cardinal direction or a diagonal. Check strength once, and then each foe in line takes damage. Did you really use the phrase intercardinal? Oh, that is awesome. Intercardinal directions can also be called ordinal directions. Oh, that dude. He's an engineer, by the way. This guy, I think he's in Seattle. So only an engineer would do that. Oh, that's probably why I'm laughing. And then the last one, the Pillar of Dawn, which also requires this brilliance skill. You must have a focus to use this skill. Put your cube in the corner of your square, then damage each foe accordingly. So if I'm standing here, I put that on the corner, and then I get to hit. Basically, it's a hit like that. While Pillar of Dawn is on the map, each exiles adjacent to the Pillar of Dawn gain 1 shield. That is not horrible. Does it remain on the map after the combat ends? Yes, until you leave the location. Even if I'm KO'd, yes. How do borders affect the defense bonus from Pillar of Dawn? A square is adjacent to a corner. If the square includes that corner. Yes, you do benefit from your own. This is interesting. I love almost all these skills. Some of these other ones, it's like, I can take them or leave them. This one, I'm like, yeah, I love them all. All right, so at first I was thinking this one is a nice path. I'm still not against the idea. The thing is this is more like a general thing where I'm giving other people cookies. And so they're going to get to do things, and then I'm spending my actions to give them cookies. And like I said, I don't have a Path of Valor person. My tankiest person is this person. So I don't know if I want to do that as much. This is the ultimate healer path. Holy crap, you can, heal anybody. You don't need anybody else to have healing skills if you have this. It's not horrible. Even the Luminaire thing, it's just I hate to use a video game reference, but it's like Baldur's Gate 3 where you have the cleric that has the thing that spins around. It basically provides light for everybody in the realm, but it damages all the undead around you. It's that kind of thing. Like, it's like this aura that helps your allies and hurts everybody else. Pretty cool. It's actually closest to like a Diablo skill you would get in a Diablo game. The light is an interesting one. I think the thing about these ones here that give me pause, because I think these ones are clearly the best skills. What gives me pause is they're big hogs of the combo points. Like, if I was soloing the game, I think I would take the bottom ones without even batting an eye, because the combo points are mine and mine alone to spend. But everybody needs combo points. The rogue needs combo points, and it's a shared resource. So if you're spending 5 of those combo points for your one action, you're hugging it from everybody else. I mean, look at this. These are the combo points right here. 5 of them puts you almost all the way to near the end. That's the part that I'm just hesitant about, because it is extremely expensive. Whereas the orange ones up here, you're gaining combo points by doing those actions. The bestiary gives you 2 combo points, so it's really nice if you had the bestiary that gives you the combo points you need to do the more expensive things. The Balm, the Bind Wounds, and the Luminaire are mana heavy, like really high mana cost, which we have 1 mana right now. I think upped it to 2. Did I remember to do the upgrade? That's the question. I think I did. No, I didn't. I took the mana, and yeah, the mana is supposed to be a 2 now. And then with the Fae, it should be a 5 now. And it is. Okay, so he has a whopping 2 mana right now. Now, it can grow later, but that's the problem with the healing one. Is the mana is limited with a dwarf. And then that brings us to now like the light skill. That costs 2 to do. The Imbue Armor is free. It's just a cube limited thing. The Brilliance costs 2 mana, which is a lot more reasonable than like 5 mana. The Smash costs 2. The Ray of Destiny costs 5. That's the big hog. Then the Pillar of Dawn is just a cube thing. So this is the really expensive one. And I think before I got into this, my heart was telling me I want to take the staff skills. I think for starters, I will take this staff skill right here, the smash skill. And I was contemplating taking form up and just going for the bestiary. You know what? I'm still going to do that. I'm going to take the form up. I'm changing my mind. We're going to do this one. And we're going to go for the bestiary, I believe. I know it's just a 3 skill thing to get to the max, but I think that's a nice little thing to get, because getting combo points will help the team in general. And then I still believe he's got plenty of skills to heal and do damage without needing help. So we're going to go ahead and take the form up for now. Put this back. Wow, that was a handful. Now this is where, if you had other players with you, this would have gone a lot quicker. Well, maybe not. I'm thinking of some of my friends, and I think they would still be, I don't know which one to take. And I just picked for 4 characters while they're still trying to choose for 1. I do. I have specific names going through my head. I won't say them to embarrass them, but you guys know who you are when you're gaming with me. All right. Now, for giggles, since I've wasted a lot of your time already, let's waste a little bit more. I'm reaching into my box here. My dog is still asking me to play, and I am such a bad dad. See, I got a new board game, and she's the one that doesn't like it. Here it is. That's for the Path of Inspiration. So the hustle skills those are the melee attacks, and ruckus. Wit. So here's the music stuff. It's probably interesting. I'm just realizing I would need to look at the cards. So I did look up the Bard, by the way. Some of them are extremely high cost actions, and it's got like some interesting stuff. Some of the music, for example, there's 4 different things you can, like, harm a foe, you can heal yourself, you can move, or you can restore stamina. Like, there's like 4 different options. You get to choose any combination of those 4. And, you know, it all based on how many music you generate. So there's some pretty cool skills. After looking at it, I'm happy with what I got. Like, I definitely think that would be fun. But I'm happy with what I got. Okay, so the level up took forever. And now we are in place, and we have what we need. So now we get to do world map travel. So it says, you are now ready to explore the world map. Get all 12 of the active travel cards, which we already did. These should be travel 1 through 12, and place them face down. Get out the 3 travel tokens and place them color side up. The most important rule when traveling is have fun. The second most important rule is you may only travel to an adjacent hex as long as there's a connecting terrain icon. There are 7 terrain icons. Travel in the world consists of choosing where to travel by placing the party token on the space between hexes, drawing a travel card, resolving it, possibly exhausting a travel token, or paying an SP to cost to keep it from becoming exhausted. If the hex is unexplored, reveal it by flipping it over. Place the party token on the new hex. You're going to stack the deck and do some predetermined traveling to learn how the system works. Take travel 1, 11, and 12 from the travel deck and place them on top in order. With travel 1 on top, you'll be using these 3 cards for examples. Normally the travel deck is shuffled and you don't know what you'll encounter. Alright, fair enough. So it says 1, 11, and 12 are going to go on top. So here we go. Alright, so one of the things I need to grab is those travel tokens that they were talking about. And I know I move stuff around, I just don't know where it's hiding. So let me pause while I find it. Okay, I found the, we were supposed to have this all along. This is our, what do you call it? The wooden thing we're supposed to be finding. And then, these are the travel tokens that they're referencing. And, you know, one thing I was thinking while I was on pause here is by the way, we're on this page right here on the left. We got this page on the right still to go. And then we got the back page. And then we're done with the tutorial, finally. I am pushing 2 hours right now. I would like to finish all of this before, so we can wrap it up and then get to the actual campaign. Yeah, just think, this isn't even the game. This is just a tutorial. But I do like that we're covering and touching all the rules, because when I get to excuse me, when I get out that 36-page rule book, I have enough understanding of the symbology and the concepts that the rulebook is going to be much easier to read and understand. I think when you get a new game and you read a rulebook, everything is just foreign to you. And sometimes you see symbols and you're like, I don't know what that means, but you keep reading anyways, and you sort of get hung up. Whereas now it makes more sense, right? So anyways, let's try to wrap this up. So, it says, look at the connecting terrain icons. You could travel to hex D2, D3, or E1. I don't know what that means. So let's look at our situation here. I don't see connecting icons at all. So it's saying, look at the connecting. Oh my gosh. I see what it's saying now, and holy crap, are they tiny. Well, maybe you could see it better because it's zoomed in. Here, let me zoom it in even more. So, there's no icon. I'm going to use my pen here. There's no icon here, here, or here. But up at the top here, you can see there's a flower, and then a flower, and then like a direction sign, right? That's what it means as connecting icon. So we're looking for flowers or that direction sign. That they call that the road. And I'm going to zoom you out here real quick. So if you look at the book here, see, there's those are plains and then road. And then we're looking for forest, grass, mountain, water, and snow as the other options. Holy crap, I would never have noticed that. Okay, so what it's saying is that the 3 directions where there's no symbol is impossible to move in those directions. There's only 3 possible ways you can go. And from where I'm sitting, without like leaning forward and looking at the table, I can barely see those symbols. And I know I've got old man eyes, but geez. Okay, So travel example 1. It's time to leave the exiles camp. Take the travel action, choosing to move to hex D2, but placing the party token between the hexes. So we're going to try to go along the road, and if you can't see it real well, I'll zoom in. This is D2 here, and so what you do is you put this on the symbol, or you put it like in between like this, is what it's asking you to do. And so we're looking for that little road symbol. Note that the terrain you're traveling on is a road terrain. Yes, exactly. Draw the top card from the travel deck and locate the terrain type you're traveling on. Read the flavor text and the rules below that. Okay, that sounds simple enough. So we got our travel deck over here to the right. So if I take this out, you can see that our symbol's not up there, which would have been an easy path, right? But we do find our symbol here. You're so hungry, you need to take a break and eat some food. Hunger. Each exile pays a stamina, and then looks like we scrap this card. If you don't pay, you go famished. If you're famished, you exhaust this token, then scrap the card. I'm assuming that's what that means. If it's already exhausted, go to starving. While travel tokens are exhausted, you cannot enter unexplored hexes, and that's the symbol that they're talking about. So this is the travel symbol. Like, we have this token, and I guess if you exhaust it, it goes to the other side. Alright, fair enough. Starving, we would add a copy of THR90 to the bottom of the threat deck, and then again that symbol that I'm not recognizing, it's discard, it's not banish. Banish is it's torn in half. That would be discard the card. If there's no copies left to add, exile -2 health. Alright, we're not starving, so we're each going to have to pay 1 stamina. So now I'm going to go back to the book. The first block of rules says each exile must pay 1 stamina, or the party goes to famished. For this example, you decide to keep all of your travel tokens ready, so each exile will pay 1. After level up, you should have at least 1, because you do replenish everything. That's the reason why we didn't need to rest. Anyways, so off camera here, or I'm going to show you on camera, we're going to just then move each one down by 1. The priest one is the toughest one to reach from where I'm sitting. Okay, because you've entered an unexplored hex, you now get to reveal it. Pushing on the right side of the hex, pop it out of place, flip the hex token over, and put it back in its place, and your travel is now complete. Okay, so we come back up to here, and we basically successfully went to D2, and this comes out, Ragould Junction. So we're having spaghetti sauce. This goes into a discard pile. Excuse me. And there we are. We're in Ragould Junction. And I can't read it from here, so I'm going to zoom in and use the camera to look. It is D2. There are no, like over here, see how it says Big Zero map, point of interest? There's none of that here. There's just a road going up, a road going this way, a road going south, and then plains going that way. And then I think that's, it's weeds, tall grass, etc. So, okay, so at Ragould Dungeon, we're obviously going to be traveling again. So it says it doesn't contain any pointers to interact with. See, look, I could have written these rules. I'm saying the same thing that they are. Not every hex on the world map contains pointers. It does, however, contain terrain icons on all the edges, so you can travel in any direction. Perfect. So we're now going to take the travel action and choose to move to hex E1 by placing the party in between. So which one's E1? So they want us to basically zigzag. We're going this way. Because I don't know if you remember, but it said that the pests were left and then up. And I don't know if this is left, because left is sort of weird with this type of hex. But there was a town here, and I think that's where we're ultimately going. We'll see. Maybe we're not. Or maybe that left and up thing we already did, and anyways, I'm confused. So, draw the top card of the travel deck. So this time we're traveling on the plains. So we're going to grab this card. And they chose these cards for us, and that last card was a mini card. And here we go. It's happening again. The journey is difficult and your spirits sag, so each must pay a stamina and then discard. If you don't pay, then you're downhearted. And then after that, bad things happen. So we're going to pay a stamina again. So I'm at 0, 1, 0, and then 0. So we're out of stamina on 3 of my characters. Alright, so let's see what it's telling us to do. You must choose. Either pay 1. At this time you could use skills or items such as your knapsack in order to gain a stamina to pay this cost. You spent stamina previously, so maybe some exiles are at 0. Choose not to pay the cost, and you go to downhearted, and you exhaust a travel token shown on the card, which is a morale hit. Then discard the card. Since Hex E1 is unexplored, reveal it and place the party token there. And so now it's just trying to explain that once one of the travel tokens can be exhausted, so you can no longer choose to travel to an unexplored hex until it's refreshed. Which is interesting. I don't know how you refresh it, though. It doesn't explain that. Okay, anyways, we're going to go ahead and reveal this. And I'm going to have you zoom in. And this one is just like the previous one. We're in the middle, and there's some roads that go this way and that. If anything, I'm curious what's here in the corner, because we couldn't go straight there from there. But we're going to go wherever it tells us, because it's a tutorial. So the new hex also doesn't contain any pointers to interact with. There are terrain icons connecting northwest to D1 and southeast to F1, but you can't travel there because at least one of the travel tokens is exhausted. Now, it's telling us to choose not to pay. So, my apologies. The tutorial told us to specifically not pay. So I'm giving myself 1 stamina to everybody, because they want us to play out what happens if you refuse to pay. So this would be exhausted. And basically what it's saying is you have these travel tokens, and all 3 need to be refreshed in order to continue traveling. But right now it's exhausted. So we can't travel to any unexplored hex. So then it's saying you have to travel back to the exiles camp and rest in order to refresh the tokens. Holy buckets. The terrain you're traveling on from Hex E1 to Hex E2 is plains. So we could cut straight south to get back to the exile camp. So draw the top card off the travel deck and locate the plains terrain. Alright, so we do this, and you can see that the plains is the flower, and it's difficult, and of course it's the symbol that's already exhausted. So each pays 1. If you don't pay, go to downhearted. Exhaust this token. If it's already exhausted, go to miserable. Yeah, okay, so let's see what it tells us to do. Because I would have paid the stamina last time. But yeah, we're learning, so it's trying to tell us what to do. Okay, so frustrated. Even though you've already exhausted this morale feather travel token, you still get to choose each exile, pay 1, or go to downhearted. At this time, you can use skills or items such as the knapsack in order to gain 1. Go ahead and do that. Spend a marker from the knapsack, and 1 exile gains 1. For this example, any exiles still at 0, pretend you have 1 at this time. You may now pay the frustrated cost, and the card is now discarded, and your token goes to Hex E2. I have a stamina with every character, so I don't need to spend anything on the knapsack, so I won't, because replenishing that knapsack costs money, and I'm being a miser. but I totally understand. I can use the knapsack to give myself energy. Okay, so the travel card then gets discarded. And yeah, those 3 cards together suck. So now we're here, and then we can rest. And that's the day action that we already did. Because remember, I didn't need to do the day action. Since I leveled up, I replenished all my skills anyways. So then we would do the beautiful day. You feel the sunshine warm. No special rules. And then what happens is all the travel tokens replenish. So let me get back to the tutorial here. I got a little ahead of it. It says, if you had not paid, you would have gone to downhearted, and since the morale token is already exhausted, you would have gone to miserable. Because downhearted says exhaust this token, but if it's already exhausted, you go to miserable. Miserable puts a THR90, a threat card, into the threat deck, and then also causes each exile to lose 2 health if there's no more to add. So it can be really bad. But that's not the case. We didn't do that. It's giving us the if scenario. So then it says, there was an NPC in the exiles camp that you didn't talk to last time. Okay, we're finally there where they tell us to talk to this camp. So they want us to enter Big Zero and get that map out again. And then go talk to NPC 161. And then it says the guide draws the card, reads it out loud. Somebody's going to get a RPG token, a role-playing token, and then it says don't scry anything at this time. There's nothing to scry anyways, but remember to talk to Cestison if you require help later. And then it says move to the Hex E2 pointer and take the leave location to return to the world map, and then put NPC 161 and Big Zero back in their corresponding hexes. That would have been a lot of work. I'm really glad that we talked to NPC 161 before. Because they really would have made me do all that work of taking out the map just to talk to that one character that we weren't supposed to talk to. And remember, we already talked to him. That's the one that takes the keys and gives you locations. So we're not doing any of that. This is the spot where you would have done that in the tutorial. So I like the way I did it instead. And so yeah, now we're at days and resting. And I might as well let you read along. So this is what I'm seeing. And so it says the day deck is used to track passage over time. Get all 3 of them, ensuring 1, 2, and 3 are face down in sequential order with day 1 on top. I got it backwards, but that's fine. Let me flip it around. There we go. Okay, so then we interact with POI 1. It should be nearby on the table, and take the rest town action. So POI 1 is still on the table. That's this, and we're doing the rest action, which we've already done because I'm a cheater and I don't follow the rules of the thing. I'm ready to start playing this game. So resting at the guild is free. Doesn't remove exhaustion from the threat deck. And when you rest, it replenishes everything. So we're going to replenish all that stamina we lost on our guys, which is perfect. All right. So draw day 1, read it, and then discard it. Each party member restores everything to full. Take the travel discard pile and add it to the travel deck, and then shuffle it. So basically, and then refresh all travel tokens. That's what happens during a day phase. And you can see that here on the guild thing. It tells you all that stuff. So the rest action is now over and a new day has begun. The first time you draw a day card, it will instruct you to follow special rules. This only occurs the first time that day card is drawn. Subsequent times you ignore the rules. So anyways, day 1 is over, and we will take these travel cards and now properly shuffle them, so we now no longer know what the travel cards are. So we we did a tutorial thing where there was fixed cards where we explored 2 spaces and then basically had to come back to where it all started because we basically got exhausted. I think that's okay. The tutorial is ending like very, very soon, and I am probably going to have to do this on the next video, but my mind is like, I want to go here because that seems like it's such a weird, it's a blocked off way. There's only one way to get there, so let's try it. It's also making me realize that stamina is maybe a little more important than I originally thought, because the traveling thing is such a pain sometimes. But everything is shuffled, and we got one final section, and then we're done with this tutorial, and we can toss it and get to the real game. Last thing is further rules. Congratulations, you've completed the quick start guide. You now have a general understanding. Immediately after taking a rest action, you can save your game, returning everything to the box if you'd like to end your session now. That would have, considering the number of hours we've done this, I don't know if I would have been able to get, like, obviously I'm not talking to a YouTube channel, but man, that would have been a long day. You're ready to head out on your own adventures, exploring the world map and hunting for squills. You don't need to look at anything else up right now, but there's some rules you need to look up in the rule book. I do find that the rule book with the index, it's been really nice. And then of course they got a little index here to help you as well. But all of this stuff is actually on the main rule book, so you probably don't need this per se. But I still like that he put it there. Some players enjoy using a notebook, keep a journal of their travels. That's fine. If you have the Epic Hut expansion, get out the rules card and follow the setup directions at this time. Okay, and then I think we already did do that, but I'll double check. And we've made 2 quick rule references, one for each player, as well as a quick rules reference on the back of the main rulebook, which is true. So I am going to add this to the... So there's, in terms of learning the game, we have this 16-page book, along with six player aids for each character. All of this was just for learning the game, and now it's out of the game and never to be used again. That's a lot of production, folks. I mean, I'm grateful for it. I do think it was a fun way to learn the game. Maybe a little slow at times. For those of you watching the video, I mean, I'm doing stuff off camera and you're just looking at this. It might have been even worse for you. I guess you do have fast forward. So we do have a wonderful 36-page rulebook. I have not looked at it any more than what you've seen me pause to do. So I will glance it over tomorrow morning when I'm having my breakfast. It is late at night, so we're done for the night. I have tomorrow off work, so I am going to get some more gaming in, and I'm actually very excited. So far this game has been meeting my expectations. I don't want to say it's above or anything. I want to get into real gameplay and not just the tutorial, but I like it so far. So I'm going to read this while I'm doing my breakfast tomorrow, and then hopefully I could get some serious hours in tomorrow and get out some more videos for you and play this for real. And yeah, in my head, we want to go here. Let's see what that is, and go from there. So we finished the tutorial. Yay! We have a lot of production material that I need to put away because we'll never use it again, and I'm okay with that. So let's wrap up this video. It's 2+ hours long, and thank you, everybody. I know there was a lot of comments on the first video. I don't have any that I've seen on the follow-ups. I have like a very large number of people who watched the first video, and I know there were audio issues, so maybe that scared a few people away. I don't think there's audio issues anymore. I think I have resolved that. So hopefully it's smooth sailing for everybody. Maybe a little slow at times because I'm still, organizing in my mind how to play this. But I hope it's clicking and making sense for everybody. And yeah, it's a very long tutorial. So I will get this uploaded, and then the campaign starts next video. Thanks for watching. As always, stay awesome.